They're making fun of Star Trek on Superbad.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Season 8, Episode 6 of the Musty Wargamers Show. And tonight we have Let's Try Not to Be Sick.
That time of year?
Rusty got some New Year's cred.
Don't breathe on me, Rusty.
Yeah.
New Year's party cred.
Cough into your elbow when for the love of God.
Well, I got it from Tim when he was sick, so it's all his fault.
Yes,
Yep.
I can take it. It's
Yeah.
my fault.
So
I got acute
All me.
bronchitis with pneumonia, so hey, what's a little bit between for me?
Wow.
okay. That's okay. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Like a cancer or something.
Yeah, I've been on antibiotics since Monday before Christmas, so
Okay.
it's working. It's I'm not dying right now, so I can talk.
Well, that's positive.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Clyde
That's a
says it's
combination.
because you're paying all those Nurgle troops. Exactly.
Oh gosh, who knows what you've been in there? Yeah.
Yeah. Papa Nurgle needs his sacrifice.
Papa Nurgle. For a happy-go-lucky Papa, he's always causing problems.
Yes.
So, how is everybody?
Doing good.
Oh, Rusty froze up.
Rusty froze up.
Cold in Iowa.
That sickness is just...
He's in a time warp. That happens.
Yeah, my
Goes
whole
up on us
computer
there,
froze up.
Rusty.
Oh, Rusty's back.
There we go.
There you
There he
go.
goes.
Huh,
Reclaimed
it's
his
like
time.
I got this big spinning thing on my computer here.
Buffering.
Is the computer
Yeah.
spinning, or is all four walls spinning?
Yeah, I was
while you're-
gonna say, can you be more specific? Should you lay
Are you
down?
sure you're on those kind of meds?
Yeah. What exactly were in those pills you took?
Yeah. You sure those are antibiotics?
You sure? Sounds like a smoke screen to me.
Yeah, I went to click on. It's. All right, did you lose me?
Nope, we got you. Present and accounted for.
All right. Trying to figure out what the heck this thing is doing. There we go.
That's all right.
It was like my computer decided it's like, hey, it's been working fine for the last hour, and now all of a sudden it's like, ah!
Yeah. Just when you need it.
As Clyde says, that's a heck of a plague. It even kills frame rates.
It's getting
It's an
serious.
all-comers virus. That's what it is.
Yeah. I like that. Go big or go home.
Yeah. So what's everybody been up to after our Christmas holiday?
Well, trying to work on a few Dark Age projects. That's all I'm doing.
I think that record's skipping. What'd you say? You're always working on Dark Age or Ancients.
Yeah, well, you know.
CD's skipping, Tim.
Well, you know what? If we're going to go down that road there, Dan,
I was waiting for it. I wondered if you'd...
just say.
I didn't set you out to swim or out to sink.
Does
I
the
knew you
name
had to know.
Stalingrad mean anything to you?
I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
Terrain. Why does it always have to be terrain?
Well, your little plastic metal guy's got to have somewhere to hide.
Yeah,
Got to set the scene, as they say.
exactly. So who wants to start the hit parade? I suppose it'd be Palmer tonight since he's in the corner.
Okay.
Oh, got it.
He's in
Back in
timeout.
In the timeout. And what'd he do?
Well, I will lift my magic visor up. What have I been up to? Well, I'm still working on all my older guys.
Expand you
And
out
so-
here.
They're starting to
Oh,
look more like they've got something going on. I'm actually painting their hair tonight. And
Hair today, gone tomorrow.
Yeah. I still have to do washes and highlights and stuff, and metallics and stuff. But
Do
I
you
didn't
know
do
how to
anything-
do hair?
like how to cut hair, like how to do hair. No, not, I mean, like, what I use is just a buzzer. Like it's the easiest thing in the world. And so clippers
Seems to work for you.
Zip, zip, zip.
Oh my god.
But yeah, you know, but I can work on other people's hair. They're just very little people. In any case, I haven't done anything hobby-wise that much, like in the last 7 days because of all the holidays. Like I did, you know, like paint some rifles here or there, like, you know, on these guys. And I did assemble these guys. Here's a couple of them. So I just had some time where I could do something, and I just for another project, I've got
That Marvel? What is that?
no
Rumble Slam or whatever,
Rumble
right?
Slam. Yeah, exactly.
I recognize it. Yeah.
So this is ogre, and then a human there on this one,
Cool.
and then an ogre, and then I've got, you know, another human and 2 halflings in this group, and they're primed. I assembled them. I had to do not very little, but it was just on one of them, a couple really tiny holes in the resin that I filled with some green stuff.
Okay.
And then I, you know, got those guys dusted with some primer. And now I'm back to painting these dudes. And I'm enjoying it, actually. They're taking me a while, but I kind of knew they would. But they're at that stage where I'm kind of enjoying it, seeing them come closer and closer. And I haven't really been gaming over the holidays or anything like that.
Yeah.
And for my musty drink, I brought myself a simple Corona.
Nice.
Appropriate, I guess.
There you go. That's right. Good one, Rusty. And if that should not be enough, I do have a little bit of a house favorite.
Oh,
Tonight.
you betcha. Approved.
So a little bit of that splash the back of my throat with. Make sure I don't get what Rusty's got.
Yep, kill the
Fill it
germs.
with some Jamesons.
Amen.
And you could take me off the big screen, Rusty. I'm going back to painting my guy now.
Tim, what you been up to?
Oh, me?
Oh,
Well, just like everybody else, it's been the holidays, so I haven't done a whole lot. But I worked on, let's see here. Can you see this little bit of terrain?
I saw that on the
Yes.
Facebook page. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that
Yeah,
too.
it's more finished now. I did the
Finish.
straw.
You're doing the fins?
Do what?
You're doing the fins?
It's a fish.
It's
You
more
said it's
finished.
Oh, finished. I
Oh.
thought you said it's finished.
I thought you were making a funny, Palmer.
Oh,
I think you're
Probably
trying to
was.
be funny, Palmer.
That
oh,
was a good
What's a
swing
funny
and miss.
Palmer? Is that a
That-
drink?
Yeah.
man. I
Is
just
that
was able to get another command thing done.
Oh, cool.
Hold on a
Nice.
second. I hate this background shit. I'm gonna get rid of it.
It's hard to get the right distance for the camera to figured out.
Yeah.
There you go, right there.
This
Find
app's
the,
too
and
far
finding
back,
the light.
and you can't. Ugh.
Are you doing those for Midgard, or are you just doing them for your normal stuff?
Well, I'm doing them both. They'll be
What?
for both
Okay.
Midgard and you know what? I can't stand this background stuff. It looks cool, but it's stupid.
Oh, the background ate him.
Shut her down.
I'm shutting down this background stuff.
The building's on fire.
Yeah, it looks
There
like
you
it's
go.
glowing or on fire. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
lantern
we go. That's
torching.
this will be better.
There you go.
There's
There we
Tim.
go. Wait a minute. Get a little light on the subject now.
Well, there you go.
There we go. Is that better? I don't know.
Yeah.
That
No, that's
camera
good. I can
stinks.
see it.
Actually,
I gotta
I
get a better
moved it
camera.
back towards you.
That looks better.
Are those Victrix?
Yeah, these are Victrix with Little Big Man Studio shield transfers and
The plastics
Banner.
you had that you were going to start.
do what?
Cool.
Those are the plastic ones that you were.
Yeah, yeah. No, these are metal. but I've got the
Okay.
plastic ones. I got hold on. I got these guys.
Oh,
They're all ready to get primed.
Woo, look at that
man, I
stick.
hate to see the tongue that goes with that tongue depressor.
Oh, Lordy.
Actually,
put 'em on-
that is actually a ruler.
I wondered that. Do you just put them on there to prime?
No. I'm just holding them on here. No, I have like a little metal plate that I use for that, and
Okay.
this is just on my desk. I can just set them up here on the.
Oh, okay.
I got magnets across my shelves, and I'll just
I
stick
gotcha.
it up there and out of my way.
Okay.
Yeah, they click up here, and they'll be up out of the way.
Well, that's a good idea.
Got a magnetic personality up there.
Yeah. Well,
There you
I don't know
go.
about that. But all I've got are the 2 command sprues left to do for the out of the Victrix bag.
How many
Yeah.
come in one of those bags? I've never gotten them. They're huge. They look huge.
There's like 60 or something.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That would.
How
I'd
much
never
does
see
that
them.
cost?
That's like a year's worth of minis for me.
Whatever. You pay more than that, Dan. When you're not doing terrain.
Yeah.
Well,
Stalingrad.
that was 2 years ago. I was younger then.
Oh, ow, man.
We were all younger when you started Stalingrad.
I know. It was just it was recent history when I started that project, and now nobody even remembers it.
We got
Heck,
Charles in
there
the
were
house.
survivors of Stalingrad still
Yeah.
alive when you
Yeah, I
started
was
that
still doing
project.
interviews.
They actually list you in the memorial now. Like you're actually it's been that long.
It has
you
been that
started.
long. You're not completely wrong.
And Charles says, "Is that a warrior chorus line?"
Yeah.
Hello, my darling.
Yeah, looks
Sunshine.
like it.
Hello, my good time friend.
The Viking version of the Rockettes.
Oh yeah, except they're using axes.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. I like the weapon of choice.
Don't get out of the
Don't mess with a guy with an
Slay.
axe.
One of our favorite Christmas movies now is what the heck is the name of it? It's Santa Claus is doing his rounds. He's drunk. He's miserable because the Christmas sucks.
Boy, that's a kid's movie right there.
Well, it's not really a kids' movie. There's lots of death in it because Santa's killing everybody.
Oh,
Wow, that gets you in the spirit. That's nice.
Did any of you guys see the movie The Holdovers?
I've heard of it.
Doesn't sound familiar.
Yeah, it's actually came out in the last year. It's not brand new, but it's not old. And it's a Christmas movie, which I didn't know. And I watched it before Christmas this year in like November.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's not a comedy. It's not like primarily a comedy. But if you are looking ever, I mean, I realize Christmas is over now, but if you're looking for like a kind of a coming of age, feel good kind of movie, that's a Christmas movie, but it's like done really well. Like it's basically on like it's about like just without spoiling it. It's about like a high school kind of like professor because it's like one of these like boys' schools that's away from home where they're all dorming there in high school.
Okay.
And
Boarding school.
basically it's about the holdovers, like the kids that actually have to stay because like their parents like either live far away or for whatever reason they can't go home for Christmas. So this one guy
Right.
is tasked with watching them over Christmas, and and it's actually really good. And it's also a period piece. It's not like it's like from like I don't know the 60s or the 70s or something like that.
Oh,
But
wow.
I really enjoyed it.
How good is it?
Like really
Really.
good.
2 reallys. To be
Oh,
exact.
Very.
The
very,
movie
very.
is called Violent Night.
Oh, I heard of that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's where Santa Claus shows up at a house and he's like miserable, so he finds the good stuff on the shelf and he drinks a whole bottle of the stuff and he passes out. And then the criminals hit the house and it's owned by a bunch of rich people and they're having their Christmas party.
Interesting.
And So
Santa
Santa Claus
Claus.
has to break out his old-fashioned skills from a couple thousand years ago when he used to be a warrior.
Huh.
Oh,
That's creative.
yeah.
Yeah.
He used to be an old Scandinavian warrior.
Okay.
It's good. It's hilarious. Oh. Violet Night.
Violent Night.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I thought Coca-Cola created Santa Claus. At least the one that we see today.
Nah.
Yeah, the
He's
one that-
angry because he's always saying, do I look like this? Do I look like a jolly fat man? No. And another movie we watched is Fat Man with what's his name? Was the original Road Warrior.
Mel Gibson.
Yeah, Mel Gibson. Yeah.
The
He's a Santa
Patriot.
Claus. Yeah.
Okay.
Brings out his old fashioned I never used to be this nice guy.
Mhm.
And let's see. We watched a lot of Christmas movies. Obviously, the top number one Christmas movie we always say for Christmas Eve is Let's Go to Nakatomi Plaza, Die Hard.
Mm-hmm.
That is a classic Christmas movie.
What is it?
Die Hard.
That's a Christmas movie?
It is.
It is.
It's an action movie, but it's set at Christmas.
Because Christmas Eve, Christmas party's happening in Nakatomi Plaza, and he shows up because he's in New York, and his wife is in LA, and so he shows up to the Christmas party, and the terrorists / thieves hit the Nakatomi Plaza for a big robbery.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Now that you say it like that.
Yeah. My wife likes to watch while you were sleeping because it's a Christmas movie. The same reason it's set at Christmas.
It's like set during that time.
Yeah. Sure.
My father-in-law always watches the original Christmas Carol, right? Like the
That's what I watched. That was
yeah,
my
the
first
black and
Christmas
white one.
movie.
Yeah.
I watched the what's his name in it? Scott. Yeah, the one from the 70s, from like 77 or whenever.
The Ebenezer Scrooge one, right? Like Christmas
Yeah.
Carol.
Yeah.
Yeah,
George
this
C.
one's
Scott
in
in
black
it.
and white. I
George
didn't know that
C.
it was
Scott.
set.
Thank you. That's the one that
Uh-huh.
I grew up on.
What is it?
George
It's
C.
George C.
Scott.
Scott in.
Okay, I think I'm talking about the original. I think it's before the 70s.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, it's on
I
every
remember
year.
watching
Usually.
it as a kid.
It's on every year in Christmas, but that's usually what we watch
Huh.
every year. It's quite good.
That's cool. I haven't seen that
Yeah.
one.
Obviously, there's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer because I want to be a dentist.
Well, who doesn't? Yeah. Hermie wants to be a
So-
dentist.
I want to be a humble. It's a humble bumble.
So,
Dan, what are you up to?
Well,
Stalingrad.
no, that's so last year.
I was painting some images and I decided, forget it. I'm doing some terrain.
I did put one more finishing touch on my table. I used it's a cloth, actually a piece of fabric that I laid down. I think it's in the pictures, but I'd gotten from Hobby Lobby, but it looked a little too clean. So I had a bunch of rubble stuff that I mixed in a plastic container and put a few drops of the paint in that I'd used to paint my buildings and some water and just stirred it in there to a slurry and then put it out, laid it out on a piece of parchment paper to dry and just kept raking it around till it dried. And then I scattered that all around on the table. And look, that was the thing it was missing. It blends it all in now. I'm really happy with that.
Nice.
Yeah. So now I'm just,
Okay, better. You made
yeah, it looks awesome. And then did a Christmas ornament for my daughter. Doing- Yeah. This is our Reaper minis.
Okay.
Nice. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. I don't think I've
Thanks.
seen you do one as elaborate as that yet.
Well, this is, yeah, they're I've been doing them for about 5 years. I did there's a shepherd and a sheep. There's a donkey. There's the 3 wise men.
I seem to remember single miniatures with like a hook that you put
Yep.
in through the head.
Yeah.
In the past, but
Right. But this was kind of the last piece to that, and it was the actual nativity. So I put it on a Warlord 60 mil base and glued it all onto there after I painted it. And
are all your other ornaments in 60 mil? Like
no, all the rest of them are on. Well, they're on other. I used all Warlord bases though.
Is that going to be a problem if
Why?
you have them on, like, don't have all your bases on the same size?
Are
they squares or are they rounds?
So far, the rules seem to be pretty universal. Like you can go with any size bases, but we'll see. Maybe when I get to heaven, I'll be like, "Oh, you don't get in.
Rounders.
Your bases are round."
Which, your round base. Oh my gosh, sacrilege!
Round base. I don't base my vehicles though, so maybe that'll help. And so I did that, which I haven't given to her because she wasn't able to make it home for Christmas. So we're going to meet her next. Her birthday is actually New Year's Eve. So she's going to be in Des Moines, actually, Rusty, this week. She gets in tonight. And Thursday night, my wife and I are going to drive over and this next Thursday and meet her for supper. So I'll give it to her then. And then, true to form, I started my new project, which is probably all anybody's going to see for the next year. No, I don't know how long, but I'm working, really been plowing through my 15 mil starter army of the Confederates.
Nice.
I'm having a blast painting these. You won't be able to see anything on here. The camera's not good enough and the lighting's not good enough. This is how I paint them. They're on just those wider tongue depressors, and I just super glue 4 of them on there and paint them up, and then I'm putting them on these little these thin metal bases. They're 3/4 by 1 inch, and I can put 3 guys on there, and they're really crowd in nice. And I'm using the Fire and Fury rules for basing and building the army. And I've got 3 regiments done. I just need to finish up the basing, and I'm working on my 4th now. And the starter set came with 5 regiments or 8 regiments. So I've got I'll be half done after I finish this one with the starter army set.
Nice.
So yeah, I've just been having a blast with it because I'm going to be able to get that mass battle look that that you can't get without having like a bazillion 28 millimeter in a 15-foot table.
Yeah,
so
it's just crowded too.
Yeah, so this will be good. And I really like these Old Glory. When you get them on, like I said before, the sales, they're super cheap, and the variety of poses is huge. So they look so good grouped together, and you don't get bored painting the same, the exact same miniature over and over.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's 20 some poses in just the one. They sell them like they'll have the Confederates advancing, the Confederates marching, and there's 20 some poses just in each of those. So I've been doing a marching and then an advancing and a marching and a charging or whatever they call it, and it's like, wow, I could every once in a while I'm like, oh, I think I remember this miniature, but it's like after painting 70 some of them, it's like there's only a couple that I'm like, oh, I remember painting that same guy. So that keeps it fun, and they've got so much movement in animation in the figures, lots of detail and lots of deep folds and creases and stuff. So like I'm doing a base coat, a wash, and then a layer of highlight, and they just really pop. I'm just amazed how fun and easy they are to paint and how cool they look ranked up really tight. So
are those still War Game accessory metal based stands?
Sorry?
Are those still War Game accessories metal based stands?
Yeah, I've got these actually through Old Glory when I ordered since they're also have the discount. But yeah, it's one of the packs they sent was actually not their labeling, and so that's where you get them from. But I mean, that's where they're getting them through them, I guess, is what it amounts to.
Yeah.
Yep. Those are the ones. And I like those because I'll be able to magnetize them, or even if I play a slightly different system or whatever, and I want to make just a small sabot tray that just put a magnetic sheet down on a thin piece of card, and you've got a movement tray, you know. So that's, and it gives them some weight too, so they'll stand up decent on the gaming table, and easy to store in a little plastic container with a magnetic sheet, you know, strapped to the bottom. So I think that's a good solution.
And every time I would make an order from Old Glory, I'd order those same exact bases through them.
They're super nice, and they're pretty affordable. You get that huge pack, and by the time you buy them on sale, I can't remember how much they are. But
what, 48 stand in a box bag?
Yeah, something like that. 48, I think, bases in there. So that's a lot of dudes. The regiments, the way my starter army at least came, each regiment is in a bag, and they're 24 guys, including your command. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just cleaning them up and doing one at a time as I go. And I haven't for sure decided what to do for flags. I was looking on Wargames Vault, and there's a guy that's got a bunch of Confederate flags. The Army of Northern Virginia are probably the ones I'll use, and I think for like
some you print yourself.
Yeah, you print yourself. I think it's like $2.99, and you get the file, and he's got they're 600 dots per inch or whatever, so they'd be pretty high quality. And then he said, well, half of them are, like pristine looking flags, and the other half, which he doesn't show, so I can't see a picture of it, but it says they're weathered or whatever, so that might be kind of fun. So I might just do that. I mean, because I'd use paper flags anyway. No point in. I just thought there'd be somewhere I could order them from, and actually, I'm not really finding much in the 15
Well,
minutes.
With the advent of everything, I noticed that after bubble jet printers started going onto the market more and more back in around 2000, that they started going away from selling cloth flags and stuff like that. So,
well, and even like the places that I normally get, like my American War of Independence flags and stuff, they don't have Civil War flags, and and you can get them from some places overseas and stuff. But between just the shipping and the time, I was like, I can print them myself. We have a decent printer, so I will try that. I guess I've done that before for fantasy stuff, but. So that'll work fine. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about that, and that's what I'll be working on for at least a few months. I presume mostly through the winter I'll be working on this, probably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as soon as I get done with some of those current projects, that's what I want to. One of the things I want to work on is get some of that stuff going again. I have a lot of stands that are probably 75% done.
Okay. Last I saw, you'd posted that video, and it was quite a while ago, and you had there were Union troops, I think, but you had them all glued onto your matting board. Yep. And I can't remember if they were primed or not.
I had them primed, and I had the pants and the tunics done.
Okay, I don't remember seeing any paint on them. I just looked at your videos like last week to try to find it, and all I found was the one. Maybe I missed the one where you'd gotten some paint on them.
I don't know if I was like. I don't know if I did a video with them that much done. So. Yeah, because I just remember you were telling about getting it, and you got them all kind of sorted out and all glued down, and then I don't know. Then it was probably getting close to like when Warhammer Fantasy stuff was getting, the old world was getting to be a deal, and you were starting to work on armies for that. But anyway, and I think it was in 23 that I was July or somewhere around there. I was working on them. And then I had a commission come in. I think a Battletech commission come in. I did a bunch of that work, and then I just got sidetracked.
Got waylaid. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And then you get some prospects of playing some different games. Then that comes the new focus too.
Exactly.
Get that. Anyway, that's kind of what I've been up to, and I've been with kids all kind of grown. I've had some paint time over the holidays, so I'm making progress.
Since I didn't do much myself over the holidays, I wasn't very, very productive this holiday season myself.
That's okay.
Let's get myself here. Here's some of the stuff I've done.
Nice.
We got?
That's a lot.
It's only 30 Death Guard for 30K Death Guard. Got 10 jump troops and 20 tactical troopers done.
Nice.
So
You guys
that's not
paint
much
such
work
big
there.
And a
bastards.
sorcerer. And a
Huh?
sorcerer. I see
Oh,
a
yeah.
sorcerer too.
And I did have Kemmler finished up.
Oh, there you go. Yep. That's the coolest miniature.
Yep.
I saw him in that picture you put up.
Yeah, he's at the base of the one model I had. So I've been. It's done. I got something just finished printing over there on the printer. But, yeah.
You're always printing something new and cool. Oh, more.
nice.
That is a big monster piece.
Yes, and it's done. Oh.
That looks like Lord of the Rings type, Osgiliath type piece.
Yeah.
That's
Good.
the whole
Or
intent.
anything.
Is that since I have all those Mordor models that are sitting on the table right there.
Yeah.
I want to get some actual terrain down on the table that looks like Asilius. And so I've been printing off buildings and stuff so I can actually have a tabletop that will do that.
That finished off super nice.
Yeah. So this was, each piece was, this bottom piece was roughly 18 hours here. And then you got another 15 hours for that, and then another 12 for that. So you can see how many hours of printing time that was for that.
Boy, those little mice in the wheel were going crazy
Yeah.
spinning that out.
So I had that piece. That one's done. So you can say I wasn't going anywhere because I wasn't feeling too well. So I just sat at my desk working.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
And I got this piece.
Let me see.
Nice.
Okay, yep.
It looks great.
Boy, when you're holding them, they look a lot bigger than where you posted them on in the Facebook
Mhm.
Oh
picture.
yeah.
And
That's
yeah,
awesome.
on the Facebook, they look small, but when you
Yeah,
hold
they
them,
don't look near that size
Yeah.
that you're holding there. Holy moly.
so I mounted it on some one over the post office and got myself some boxes.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
Thank you, United States Postal Service.
Yeah.
And so I got there's this piece, and then on with it is I got attachments that go onto it like that for like fallen rubble off.
Oh, brilliant.
Nice.
Did you just scratch make that rubble piece then? Or
It's part of the
Okay.
the file system
That's
that
pretty-
comes with it.
Pretty cool.
So there's
I like
that.
it.
So there's those two pieces, which turns around, and I can turn around and set them like that, and it's a big pile of rubble on the table.
Oh, that's very good design. Nice. I
So
love
got
stuff like
that
that.
one, and then there's this one.
Yeah, that is massive too.
Yeah, that's great.
Good grievy. And that's nice for a skirmish game because it's got all the little, all the
Man.
little areas and the raised areas and steps.
Yeah,
And,
so you can set your warriors up in here that they can be shooting out of the holes.
oh,
and
yeah.
everything.
That's
So-
awesome.
So you can turn it into a little defensive area.
So is that kind of what you're hooked on right now? It's thinking Middle Earth.
Yeah, that's kind of where my thought process is right now. Is I want to build a tabletop for it.
Oh, that'd be awesome. 'Cause that's a
Yeah.
terrain heavy type game, I think, because you can use the terrain the way the rules are written. Oh, that's nice.
There's
Holy
another piece.
Buckets, that's
Mhm.
big.
Yeah,
That's a chunk
Wow.
of resin.
this is like half of a fallen in stable.
Good.
Wow.
grief.
So
Well, it
I'm
could be a
painting the-
cathedral or anything.
Yeah, so right now I'm working on putting the brown on it for it's like you've seen the other piece, that the big tall
Mhm.
tower. So I got to put on the terracotta roofing on it, and then there's all the wood with it. So I got to weather all that and then wash it and weather it again. So-
Really nice, Rusty. That looks like Bretonian terrain too to me.
Oh yeah. And then I got this piece.
That one never
Nice.
ends. Well, your poor
What do you have in
printer has
total?
just been working its butt off.
Yeah.
How many did you have in total?
I have
Good.
8 houses stables, tower. What else is there?
Well, I want to see that. You got to put it out on the table so I can see what you got going.
Yeah.
As you
And
kind of,
this one just came off. I finished this one this morning. I got this one.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
I like that.
gosh.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Great.
could
Another,
that be two separate buildings or not? Or is it? Does it have? Could that be on the ground? Both of them? Yeah.
yeah, they could be. I just
mean,
would
just if
have
you
to
Paint that top.
paint it top
Yeah.
differently. It's like a peg system. You hold it together.
That's pretty slick. Good find on
that.
those files.
And just, I have another piece that the ground floor section of another house and the second floor of it just got done printing. So I got to put that together, clean that all up. And, because there's a few errors that, something is printing for 18 hours, errors eventually show up.
Yeah, I would wonder that.
Because if one small error starts and it just starts compounding.
Compounding, yeah. When you're layering, yeah.
But it's rubble, so I don't care.
Yeah, that's what they always say when you're doing damaged vehicles or buildings or something. You can always work with that.
And I just look at it and go, no big deal.
Yeah.
That's the attitude. You made lemonade.
That one.
That's cool.
What else? I think that's it for now. Yeah.
You have been busy.
And obviously, I do have more Death Guard stuff that's sitting on the table here.
Mm-hmm. You've still been productive, just maybe
Yeah.
not your blistering pace you normally set.
Well, I lost like 3 days because my wife and daughter wanted to play Civ 6 for 3 straight days.
That's
So is
good
that
work.
that's on the not the video game, board game, right?
It's Civ. It's the video game. It's on Steam.
Oh, so it is a video game. That's cool.
Yeah.
So when you play that, just out of curiosity, you can actually play multiplayer that way?
Yeah, that's what we're doing, is playing multiplayer.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Each one of us has our own civilization, and we're just kind of playing head-to-head co-op type thing against the world.
Neat.
And we just we finished up about 9 o'clock last night and finished the game, and my daughter won it. So it took us 3 days of about 12, 15-hour days playing each day.
And that's dedication.
Yeah. Well, there's that.
My wife won't play any game that takes more than about 40 minutes tops.
Yeah. On Christmas Day, we did play Seven Wonders, the board game.
Yeah, played that.
And there was another game that we played too. It's a sword building game. My wife didn't care much for that one,
But she tried it.
yeah,
That's
she
good.
tried it. She was like, I really don't care much for this one. I'm like, everybody else was like, we love it. It's great. Let's play it again. And she was like, oh, no.
No.
We played a Zombicide game, which was fun. That was kind of like a harken to the past. But
Yeah.
then we played, I'd never played it before, but that card game Munchkin,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never played that before. That
I've
was
never
kind of
played
fun.
it, but I know what it is. Yeah.
It was
I
kind of
got
fun,
Munchkin,
actually.
regular Munchkin, and Star Munchkin sitting right here.
Yeah. It was fun. It was fun game to play at the Christmas, like the holiday gatherings when we had multiple people playing.
Yeah, we would take the regular Munchkin and add Star Munchkin to it, and basically would play the equivalent of what's the name of the sci-fi show? It only had one season.
Firefly?
Firefly, yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's a Firefly game, isn't there?
Yeah. We made Munchkin out of it.
That's cool.
Charles said, my family enjoys the Muppet Carol and the Grinch Who Stole Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Which one? There's like A lot of good ones now.
Yeah. We watched the Christmas Chronicles 1 and 2, or and what the heck was the other ones? We were watching a Christmas movie every night from.
Yeah, we did too.
And it's didn't do much, proceed to show much progress. Well, I didn't do much.
I was gonna say that looked pretty. Makes me feel like I'm not even trying over here.
Well, I wasn't doing much. Let's see, those look super excellent. Yeah, it's really helpful when they actually have really good files that make things look good. It helps a lot. That's half the battle right there.
Yeah. So is this a place that you've used, or a designer, or whatever they call them, that you've used before, or do you have a subscription?
Yeah, it's off
whatever?
of. I shared the file with you guys. When I was looking.
Oh, yeah. I don't know any of them really, so I didn't know if that was one that you.
What's the name of it?
Some of them you subscribe to, and every month they release some stuff, and you get it all at discount. And
yeah, right now it's like My Mini Factory. They have the stuff is like 40 or 50% off right now.
Okay, yeah.
That's why.
So, if you don't mind me asking, so were those buildings all one purchase, or did you purchase each building?
Well, each one's a different. You have to purchase each
one's
file.
A different file. Okay, I wasn't sure if it was like a collection, or maybe you could buy it that way.
Sometimes you can. Just depends.
Yeah, some places you can buy them as a
company.
There's some stuff I've got where they'd have a Kickstarter and you could buy it. I got a Dwarven Kingdom set that I got off Kickstarter. I have yet to do anything with.
Oh, okay.
It's like I can create a massive mine, like the Mines of Moria type of thing.
Oh, cool.
But I was like, that's going to be a lot of resin eventually.
Boy, those buildings looked like they'd be a lot of resin.
Yeah.
You just had.
The ones all that showed was 3 kilograms of resin.
I don't know what that means. How does it come? Yeah, how big of a container?
Like
that big.
Oh,
okay. I was picturing like quart jars or something.
No, it's like a big jug.
Okay. Do you get it through the mail?
Yeah.
Oh,
I get it.
that's
imagine
like Elmer's
something
glue.
like this.
Yeah. I got
Amazon.
a gallon. It's like a gallon jug.
Get it off Amazon.
Okay.
I got 3 kilograms for like $38, I think it was, after taxes.
Cool.
It was on sale.
Well, yeah.
I bought 2 jugs of it back for the Black Friday sale, and I've burned through one of them already. And I just opened up the new one last night.
So how much is whatever quantity, like those gallon jug things? Is that like $100? 70, 80?
No, I got 3 kilograms for like $38 altogether.
Okay.
Right now you can get like $15 or $16, and you can get a kilogram.
Okay.
It's not bad. You can print a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
So, I'm going to get on with the topics of the night.
That's good.
You're the boss.
All right. So, the topic of the night is I posted it it's on the video, but the future of games having dual analog and digital components. And the second half of that is making game materials digital reliant to be able to play. They're kind of like go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole reason for the topic was my son wanted to use. He's got a bunch of Dark Angel stuff for 40K for 10th edition, which I'm kind of like, nah, I don't really want to really too much want to play that game, but him and his friends want to play 10th edition.
Okay.
And he got the app from Games Workshop. And he's looking at the app, and there's nothing on the app.
Oh.
So you have to do is buy the codex, actual physical copy of it, so you can get access to the app.
Oh,
What's
God.
What's it giving
That
you?
sounds like Game Workshop.
Is that a code, or what are you getting?
Yeah, you get a code in the codex. The paper
Why can't
codex.
can't you get it from somebody else, or how does that work? I don't even know.
It is
One-time used code or something.
One-time use code that only goes with that account.
I gotcha. Wow, that's a deal breaker for me.
Yeah. So, I'm seeing this as the future of what.
Ouch. Sounds pretty bleak if that's the future.
Yeah.
Count me out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like looking at this and going, okay. So, the question is this what the future is going to be, where you can buy analog portions of a game and you're going to have digital aspects of it, but you also have to spend money to buy the digital aspects?
But you can't use the analog unless you buy the digital.
Yeah.
Oh, not good. I don't think that's a good way to go.
Not good at all.
So
Well,
you can
because
see where I'm
wasn't
going with this.
that game the first time I've ever really? I mean, I know this isn't the same thing, and you don't have to pay for it. Because I'm not really into the. Wasn't Mansions of Madness like whatever the newest
Board
edition
game?
was? Didn't it have to have where you have to have the app to play? I mean, the app was probably free, but to actually play the game, you did have to use the app. Is that correct?
That's the board game. So it's like there's a lot of board games, right?
Yes. And that was my understanding. I've played one older edition of Mansions of Madness, like 1 or 2 games. So I'm a little familiar with the game, but not that familiar. But I thought I remembered, I don't know, and this has been a few years now, but it came out and I thought, I mean, they thought it was kind of cool. What they weren't trying to profit off of it, but they thought that added another cool element to the game. And I don't even remember what it was doing. If it was sort of being like the dungeon master, it would let you know who was the turncoat or whatever, or what it was doing exactly. But I was kind of like, well, then let's just play a video game then. That's kind of my thing. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know of
remember-
anywhere else doing stuff like that though. Currently, do you?
Well, there was a while back, there was a company that was putting out digital components of games where they were trying to go the route of.
They didn't have to actually have the physical product, you mean? And you would
and they were trying to do a digital portion. It was like you play the game digitally, but you could also, I think you could have the miniatures too with the game.
okay.
And there was a portion of the game was set up to be totally digital. So you were like, if you wanted to roll, do something with the model or something, you'd use the app and it would tell you what the outcome was.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what the Mansions of Madness was doing, because there's some secretive part. And this way, literally nobody knew what was happening. I mean, the idea is cool, and I never played that, and maybe I'm not understanding it right, but that was my understanding. And I was like, immediately like, well, I'm not interested in that. I mean, that's part of my thing about like board gaming and miniature gaming is to leave the electronics behind. And it's like, doesn't matter if the power goes off, or I don't need my battery charged, or I mean, I just want to touch the physical components, and I want to just use some imagination like when we were kids, and
Well,
I
you
could
use
see
your
where
phone as a watch, but not as a game.
exactly. You could use your old Casio as a game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In the 90s,
I mean,
man.
you might as well just use the old Casio.
Exactly.
Dan,
I
there's
don't
some
know.
people you might have to explain Casio to.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
They might know the calculators at least, because they were a big calculator company too.
Keyboards.
Oh, was it keyboards too?
They did, but they were not as.
Oh yeah,
big
that's like
names.
they into everything.
Yeah. Well, I actually feel like the couple of things that come to mind for me is one, like for the companies themselves to do this, they automatically have to have the resources and the capacity to work consistently online, and updating online and working within that platform. And I feel like there are a lot of companies that are smaller companies, not bigger. Because like board game companies right off the bat, like I'm assuming they're really big, but Games Workshop is also quite big and comparable, I think, in many respects to some of these larger board game companies.
Oh, absolutely.
But we know that like they have the ability to just hire several people to manage that that have computer backgrounds and publishing backgrounds and all that kind of stuff. But I think that there are many miniature gaming companies that still are small, and what I find is more common is going towards just giving you rules for free, like you can buy the rule book, but the rule book's also free, and in some cases it's a product, like an actual book, and in some cases it's just like one-page rules, where it's just a set of documents, and I feel like the online digital content is more just providing like an online book more often than not. I don't necessarily think that it won't become the future for certain companies. And the other reason why I think it could be popular is that the younger generations, like younger than the folks that are part of this show, like they like having, many of them like having things on their phones. And there may be an appeal that is not for us, but that there's a demand though, like within the market.
Yeah, certainly.
For additional content, like, on your phone and stuff. And so it's quite possible that that's a driver for it, that it's not just the companies, but it is actually the audience.
Well, yeah,
they're
certainly
catering to a new market. Newer.
Getting pushed to the side. We're not important anymore.
It's I don't know if Tim, you do much with on Facebook groups, but one of them is the disgruntled veterans group. It's on Facebook.
Yeah.
And they will mention video games or playing games, and everybody, I say 90-95% of them think video games. And when I hear games, well, most time I go harken right immediately to thinking of analog games like we play.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a more and more people nowadays. That's all they know is playing video games. That's it. When you say playing games, it's like they think video. That's it.
Yeah, sure enough.
And when nowadays is like they're trying to cater. I think that's the whole premise of it, is they're trying to cater to that group of individuals that all they want to do is play. It's all video.
Yeah. Then why don't they just go with the video game? Seems like you're getting really niche there.
Yeah. I agree.
But, it depends how cheaply they can do it. Like Palmer said, if you can get pretty sophisticated with it if you've got a team that can manage that tech side and answer questions and make sure there's not glitches and incorporate the new updates when there's rule changes or or whatever patches and all the stuff. It could probably be pretty successful. But you'd also have to have a team that handles that, I would expect.
Talking
about, well, one of our last topics was what Warhol.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I could see that being the future right there, where companies like, say, Games Workshop will actually create their own versions of, let's say, Warhammer Fantasy, that it's 100% just all digital like that. Unlike their Total War, whatever it is, that one.
Yeah. It'll be an actual
playing head to head.
It'll actually be a tabletop recreation rather than a traditional strategic video game.
Yeah, where you're actually buying the miniatures and you can actually kind of digitally paint your models.
Yeah, I could see that.
I would totally see them doing something like that to get the market going in another direction, and then turning around and getting people hooked into it, and then say, hey, you can also play it on, on tabletop if you want to, analog.
Right.
Well, actually, as I'm thinking about this here, I was thinking maybe talking about it as a generational issue might really kind of go off on a big tangent, but because it isn't just a generational issue, like it's specific, to the way they are just offering these games. But I think in some ways, I've thought a lot about how, the difference between primarily consuming versus primarily creating or participating in content. And like, I feel like the hobby part of this hobby, of course, is creation. I mean, like we're painting and creating, and it's slow, arduous, not arduous, but like it's slow, like kind of
hands-on,
time-consuming
process
that you truly kind of own what you're doing. Like you're participating in it, you're owning it. The more you play something like a video game or closer to that, you are actually consuming content. It's closer to watching TV.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier. I mean, like there are times when I don't want to paint and I will prefer to consume than create. Like, and it's easier. It takes less out of me to, like, energy wise, like, to do that. And so there are times when that's the case. And I almost wonder whether that's the same thing when you're interacting with content and just wanting to be able to search for something and not have to look through the pages, and like just wanting to like say the name of a rule and have it pop up versus actually like reading the rule book, like, like, and like kind of like there's an ease that comes with sometimes the online participation.
Well, yeah, it's that app that my son has. He showed it to me where you can just look at it. It's like, oh, look at my unit, and it has all the special rules and everything that goes with that unit, so you're not having to search for tells you what that is. You're not searching, or if it has a connection, this is the page you can look for it on in the rule book, but it also tells you, etc.
Yeah,
it's like dumbing it down a bit, so you're making it quicker, I guess, to find whatever information you're looking for. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that part of that's kind of like society in some ways. Like I read a lot less than I used to. I hate to admit that, but it's true. I used to read a lot more when I was younger. And
I used to burn through a book at least a week,
Mm-hmm. And I find that the recent sort of life, like with smartphones and content online and all that stuff, I find that distracts me, from other things.
But so that being said, do you feel like that's a thing that to be avoided, or is that a negative? Is it a positive, or is it just what
Yeah.
it is?
It's a good point.
Is for me, I remember consciously, I mean, it's been years. I mean, it was when the first Halo came out and the first Medal of Honor. There were 2 Medal of Honors out back then. I don't even know what's out now. And I was playing, I hadn't been married that long, and we had the very first original Xbox, and
Yeah.
and I was like, this is amazing. This is the kind of stuff we would have loved when we were kids. And after everybody went to bed, I'd play that at night till late, and try to finish the campaign or whatever. And then I started to notice, it was like, I spent how many hours and how many weeks doing this, and I accomplished it at the end. But it's like, I felt like it was so empty. It was like, I didn't accomplish anything. I didn't make anything. It wasn't even like I read a book. It was like vegging in front of the TV almost, except my dexterity skills were being tested and sometimes some problem solving. But I was like, I just really felt like, because I remember when I finished the very first Medal of Honor one, I was like, okay, wow, okay. That was, it was kind of like, I want my last 6 weeks of my life back.
Yeah.
Because I spent all my free time doing it. And I was just like, I don't know. I just felt really like that wasted my life. So I haven't played really a video game since then, to be honest. I don't even know what the new stuff is out. It looks totally cool, and I could see getting sucked in, and it'd be amazingly fun to do. But with such limited amount of free time, like for me, I'm like, I'd rather be doing or making or talking to somebody or doing something with some substance, I guess, is what I feel like. Because I can watch a half hour of TV or a 40-minute thing on Netflix and move on, because everybody needs some down veg time. I don't know. Those are just, so I try to, I don't know. That's just me, and I don't know if it's a little bit of a side tangent, but.
Well, I actually can get into a video game as much as anybody else to some degree, but I find like it doesn't last for me. Like I actually will pick up a game and I might do a big push on a game, once in a while, but I won't really play it too many times. I actually find that I don't have a lot of patience for video games. As much as I like them, I don't stick with them, and it doesn't last long for me. So that's not my particular poison. But what I would say is, and this is really illogical, but I can actually spend ridiculous amounts of time looking at miniature stuff online instead of painting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a certain amount of that is feeding your creative process to me.
Yeah, it's new games.
As long as you're not just doing that
miniatures.
Instead of getting off the, if you're not living vicariously through somebody else.
No, I'm not. I could just look at what's coming out and stuff for the games that I'm interested in.
Yeah,
Facebook groups and
I find that enthuses me to go work on my stuff, though. I don't know.
It does sometimes, and sometimes it just wastes a whole bunch of time.
Oh, yeah, and it can. I mean, you're not wrong.
Falling down the rabbit hole of,
and some of it,
if I'm researching a new game, and then it's like, then you realize how much it's going to cost you to get this new one and all the miniatures, and you're like, I just wasted 20 hours pouring over this. And
yes,
yeah, I know. And some of it, though, like interacting, whether it's Facebook groups or YouTube channels, sometimes that's also a social, and finding like-minded people. For like me, when I do that and comment in videos, it's sort of like going down to the, local hobby shop, which we don't have, and and hanging out with some like-minded people or supporting, somebody's cool paint job or whatever, As long as that isn't become that's what you do for 4 hours a day and you never do anything for yourself. But
I guess what it comes down to me is just saying that in some ways, although like that can be supportive, like you said, it also, because even playing a video game can be inspirational. If you're playing a game like I don't know how many people, but a lot of people started Warhammer Fantasy through Total War. They liked it so much, the world, that they did it. And so from that perspective, you could make the same argument that it can have a positive. But at the same time, you could argue that anything that is just staring at a screen for a long period of time, like longer than you normally would, and you're not doing the things that you want, like maybe you think you should be, and that's just relative, but just what you think you should be, could be considered just consuming content and just kind of not actually, it's just easier.
That's kind of what it came down to for me.
You're getting a fix in your hobby without doing it.
That's what I mean. If it's inspiring you, and you don't have to be productive every day or even every week, but sometimes it's like, I mean, I don't disagree with that at all.
Well, and it's not everybody. It's just a human behavior. So I'm just saying, I can do that. I can do that more so than playing video games. That's one of the reasons why I oftentimes don't join any more Facebook groups, because I just don't have any more bandwidth,
any more time to give
for all the posts and everything. It's just too much.
That's why sometimes I just kind of walk away from it for a couple of days. I don't even check it, and which is why sometimes I miss some of what you guys are doing, because I'm just like, I can't. I just don't even look at the face. I can't go on there, because then you're just checking that new thing that came out, and then I've got some other interests that aren't even miniature related that I look at, and then, like you said, pretty soon you've spent your time just looking at other people do things, and you're not doing anything.
Exactly. Yeah, I used to spend, like, eat my breakfast, and when I was eating my breakfast, I'd break out a book and just sit there and read my book.
Yeah.
I'd read a chapter while I'm eating breakfast, and then it's like, okay, time to pitch a shower, get off to work, or whatever it may be. And now it's like you get on the Facebook, and it's like you realize you just spent an hour looking at crap on Facebook, and you got nothing done. You don't feel like you accomplished anything.
Well, and then every once in a while you get tempted by something, either some new rules come out or some sale or something. It's like, I'm not even working on those miniatures right now, but boy, that's a heck of a great sale. I should jump on that, or and then you're like, if I hadn't even known that, I wouldn't even have cared.
Yeah.
So spinning the topic back a little bit from this tangent, but maybe reinforcing it. Do you think there's a value in companies capturing your online attention instead of selling you a book and then just saying goodbye? Like the book is there, goodbye. But actually making you go somewhere they are in order to participate with them on a regular basis. So they could even throw something, I don't think most of the times they throw ads on these things, but they can throw anything they want in front of you, community message, or guess what, news, whatever, you know what I'm saying? If they can get you to come back, maybe that's part of it too.
Well, because that's the whole thing, even with it, what people call a dead game. I mean, if they're not always kind of feeding something to keep the community hype up, or to keep you interacting, and because your interest will start to switch to maybe a different game or a different hobby, but then all of a sudden, this is happening, or there's something to kind of keep the buzz going, then it kind of can keep dragging you back, even like you said, if it's not new stuff, but just to keep you like giving you another little hit. It's almost like to keep you kind of interacted. And because I think a lot of this hobby even if I don't even play a lot of games, but especially once you get social media involved, it's a social thing, it's like
it's pushing those endorphins.
And just being interactive and part of a group. That's why Kickstarters a lot of times take off, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to be able to get the same game after it comes out a year later. Maybe it's $20 more, and maybe you don't even want it then, but a lot of times it's the hype and being part of the hype train, and everybody's excited about the new stretch goals being unlocked, and it's just fun. You feel like you're part of a thing, you know.
Well,
so
I do think that's true.
Keep you doing that, then it's good for them. It's good business. I mean,
well, and since you mentioned business, that's kind of where I was going next. If they just say, sell you a book and say, we'll see you the next time we release a fact or something, or like the next time we release a new set of rules or whatever, if that's what they do,
that'll die.
What they're doing is they're giving you opportunity to go somewhere else.
Yep.
Nice, Rusty.
Yeah, that stuff's good. That's good.
Yeah,
You're doing a nice
did all
job
the
with
woodworking on it.
And so part of this is, and in all fairness, some of this stuff sounds as if I'm saying it's bad, but really, like, if I'm really into Old World, I like to know when the community announcements are, and like I like to know that stuff.
Same here.
Like, and it is online. It's not like sent out in a parchment scroll from a pigeon. You know what I mean? Like it's it's basically online. But so I'm not saying that all that is bad necessarily.
No, I'm not either. I know I sound a little negative.
But I mean, but the reality is there's a good and a bad to everything sometimes, right? Like it's all a balance.
And I think a lot of it as a consumer is to just be aware. I mean, and have, just what are your priorities, and how much financial, money do you have, expendable, disposable income to deal with, and other hobbies and interests and time available. And just, I mean, I guess, that's true of any advertising. It's like, whether it's this new pickup or some Corona something that came. I mean, they're just always being bombarded with, oh, this is going to make your life better. You must have this. And, but it's like you said, I like to be in the know of stuff, of some of the, things that you're interested in, but I guess some of it's self-discipline too, and being realistic on what you can accomplish and what does make you happy ultimately.
When you think about the classic games that many of us, I mean, I don't know if you guys ever noticed this, like everybody has a different level of tolerance for what they enjoy and different things, but it's just, I'll go into my game store even as far as back as 10 years ago, and I'll go up to some of the sections with some of the older books, and some of them look like they've been put together like out of high school or something, like, you know what I mean, like the rule sets are like literally truly old school, like, and I'm not trying to put them down or anything, but it's just that's the way they were made. It was a small scale company, like, it was just whatever,
low budget.
And some of them are like the books that you buy, and some of them are like overpriced books that you buy, like books that like you should cost half what they do, but they're really in nice condition, but they cost a fortune, and then you just got everything under the sun. I actually really do like a nice rule book. And so, like, I kind of maybe admitted to that bias when I said, like, some of them look like they were put together at a high school. But it was just like, I do like that. I mean, that's kind of like, does it mean that the rules are better? Not necessarily, but I like a nice put together product. And trying to remember where I was going with this, but I think where I'm going with it is that when you have like this online content now, it's interesting how presentation matters differently to different people, and all this stuff, like some folks just don't like the fact that it can't be updated. So when you get the physical book, whereas I'm kind of the mindset, as much as I know it's hard because you almost always need an FAQ with a halfway complex rule set, you still like need an FAQ at one point usually. I like books where like I'm not, the thing that I bought isn't wrong like very quickly.
No, I understand that.
And we've talked about that.
And that's one thing that comes to mind is that if you buy a physical copy of a book, is like, say, put Games Workshop, for example, usually within 2 years or so, maybe 3, it's outdated. Because they've moved beyond that to something else. And,
You know what I feel? Yeah.
that's their model. Is every 2-3 years they're putting out a new edition anymore. It seems like.
I feel like, I guess it depends on how much you play game, like your core games, and how much of it is a core game. But I feel like Musket and Tomahawks was out a really long time, the first edition, but I probably got like 3 years with it, I'm guessing, where I solidly played it. And,
Yeah.
and in all fairness, like the thing owed me nothing after that. Like, you know what I mean? Like the way I look at it is if it's a good set of rules, like
You
really
felt like you
good,
got your money's worth out of it.
Like
I
you
got
could
my
still
money's
play
worth.
it and be happy. Even.
Yeah, no, exactly. And even the new book was a much better publication. I recognize the new Musket and Tomahawks was not nearly as characterful, nearly as granular as the original. Like they did, it did move away. Like there isn't as much in there as compared to the first, but it's still like, I don't know. It has that nice publication feel, like that part, which was kind of nice too. But I don't know, like with the online content, there are some folks, like some companies are putting out online PDFs that are just as good as their actual manual they're selling, and they're giving it to you for free. Just some people like to have the book. And I think that's actually kind of cool. And really it's not the same as an updating content, but it does allow them to potentially update it a little easier.
Well, yeah, I've seen a lot of people online starting to comment they wish companies would do that, release the rules as a PDF, that then when they have FAQs or whatever, it's just automatically updated and you're always current and good to go.
Yeah. Like from a gamer perspective, I think that works out really well. From a collector perspective, and like somebody that likes to have the feel of a book in their hands and a good quality book, it's kind of.
I just hate searching through stuff on my phone, in that way.
What I used to see was Spartan Games. They used to put out a book, and then they decided that it was easier to have a PDF and put all their energy into the models instead. And so they say, yeah, we got a new update to the rules, or new update to the unit rules, or however they want to call them. And it's like, all you had to do is just download it and you're able to play the game. And all it mattered was the models.
Right.
And that's what I liked about that.
The 3D printers came out.
Yeah.
You can't win.
Yeah, but I think, I don't think Spartan Games has had a lot of trouble, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. They've had a lot of trouble historically, right? They're done, right? Aren't they now?
Yeah, they went out of business.
Yeah. They've had a lot of trouble even keeping the models, like the IP and stuff like that, because they did the alien stuff, which they did one of the most beautiful alien ships. The ground car, I think it was. Was that the one that they did the alien, the actual car, like in the second movie, the breaching car?
That was
it was either them or they did the drop ship in that movie. It was one of the two of them, like that drop ship. But
yeah,
it was
that
just
was a different company that put that out.
Oh, is that right? Okay. Well, that was gorgeous.
Spartan Games put out the Halo miniatures.
Okay. Didn't Spartan do Aliens at 1.2? I thought
that
they
was, did. What the heck was the name of that company?
I'm getting them confused then.
Yeah.
Alien miniatures. Let me just see something here. I thought more than one of them did Aliens at 1.2, actually. Alien miniatures. I'm just going to put Spartan just because I thought. Games. Here we go.
You might be right, Palmer, actually. That rings a bell here.
It was a while ago, but we're talking a little while ago now.
Yeah, I know.
Uh-oh.
You're right about the Halo. I see that comes up right away.
The Spartan Games that did Dystopian Wars too?
Yeah. They had Dystopian Wars, Uncharted Seas, and
Firestorm
Armada.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a pretty awesome system that they had.
it's hard. You try to type in alien, and almost everything has an alien in it.
Yeah.
I want to say
Weird.
like alien movie.
Yeah, I think the company name started with an A, but
Okay.
Aries.
Anyways, you know what I'm talking about then, I guess. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. I could be wrong then. Anyway, that was an interesting subject. That was the first part, Rusty?
yeah, the second half was that
Looks like-
we just went game materials with digital and Reliant to be able to play. That's what we kind of discussed. And the other half was where you have part of the in the future where you can play the game either digitally or analog.
So are we talking about like tabletop simulator, or is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Hmm. That's kind of happening almost outside of the purview
Yeah.
of the creators of the game at this point. Like they're just like people that are just doing it themselves. You know what I mean? Like on those platforms. But it's the question is they're going to do it in the future that way.
And I can see Games Workshop doing that where
You know,
If the-
it almost, for the reason that I said earlier about keeping your attention and keeping you engaged, it almost makes sense that if that ever became popular, and I think it just depends on how popular it is, but if it ever became popular, it would make sense for them to try to
Oh yeah.
take command of that space,
Yep.
just so they're interacting with their own folks, you know, their own customers,
Yeah.
and it would make sense. Whether or not they will, you know, I think it depends on how much people are doing it.
Yeah, I would
can
agree with that.
see a company where in the future where you have an actual digital game board
Mhm.
and you're able to play the game digitally on the tabletop. You know, it's like I always harken back to watching the first Star Wars movie where they're playing the 3D chess,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and you're able to play the game that way. So everything's moving around, and you're just buying the digital models to put on the board.
You know, in some ways, games that work on a grid system that are a bit simpler in that respect, there are already examples of that happening. In that, I don't think, from what people tell me, that Blood Bowl is that much different on the tabletop than it is on the video game, because the video game is a grid.
Yeah.
And basically you can do like the same thing. I mean, the difference is the game's doing a lot of the stuff and doing the rules for you. So like the game is calculating percentages and doing all this stuff in the background and telling you what the result is.
Mhm.
But I think really by Games Workshop making a video game called Blood Bowl and capturing the online market, you know, for people that want to play it online, they're kind of doing that in some ways in that instance.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know,
Enough. Yeah.
it's not a tabletop simulator in that you can't just grab a character and move them wherever you want like a miniature. It is a video game, but it's pretty close to the game as far as
Yes.
what I can tell. Like it's not a video game where you play a player and you're running around like in like 3D, like, you know, in like your first person as like a goblin with football. Like, you know, it's not like that. You know.
Sorry.
Oh yeah. It is, but it is a strategy game where you're playing, you know, with your team as you would on a tabletop.
And I'm just thinking of where in the not too distant future where you come over to somebody's house and they have their tabletop right there. And you just take your army and just whoosh, you just throw it digitally throw it up on the table.
Yeah.
And you're able to play. You're talking face to face, playing the game like you are.
Yeah.
But you actually have a game that's digital miniatures.
Yeah.
And that's what I could see Games Workshop doing in the future.
Now the question is whether you actually can use a miniature if you've bought the box that has the code in the game.
That's the thing. If you buy a box of miniatures to actually physically build them, it probably comes with a code like they're doing now. You got digital content that's attached to that code. So you can actually play, you can paint the miniatures, and you would also have, that's forcing both markets.
You can actually play online with that squad because you bought it.
Yeah.
Can you only play with one squad unless you buy two?
You probably have to buy the miniatures.
Wow, that's brutal.
Well, brutal, but
that would be the way they'd market it, though.
It's your army only has 10 because that's what you bought, right?
Yeah.
Does that mean you could get secondhand miniatures really cheap because people just bought them to get the code?
Yeah.
Well, that might be a market too, but I guess the question is how good the game is. Clyde says that's what GW would do. That sounds like
Exactly.
We're all thinking it. We're all pretty much thinking it when we're talking like that. But
yeah, I know.
But it's just, it's almost like these little boxes of figures. Like I can't even think of one particular brand, but you get like a figure in a little box, and it has like a code on the back, and you can like get something online because of the code on the back. And
it's like Webkins or something.
Yeah.
Remember those?
It sounds familiar. It's like I can see this stuff has happened. I just can't think of an example because I never did it myself where I was like into that. But it's just it's very much in some ways out of touch with analog gaming. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
to do something like that,
right?
You're almost gonna like it. Almost be better. You might as well just have them as pre-painted miniatures at that point.
Yeah, I suppose.
Who knows what 20 years from now will look like? That's the question.
We won't be able to see it. We won't be able to see well enough to know what we're looking at, anyways.
What's that like, Tim?
Yeah, it's like that every day.
Well, hey, on a similar note, I mean, just talking about digital and technology and stuff, have you guys been seeing some of the Facebook groups have been putting up AI animated? They're animating their miniatures through AI.
Oh yeah, to get them to move around.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. Wow.
Oh my goodness.
How do you do that? You take
creepy.
a picture and use software?
There's a software or an app or something that people are using. There's different ones because some people will ask, and I don't know what any of it is, but
yeah.
And I've seen some Napoleonic guys, their miniatures charging across the table. I saw some sort of monster ogre thing. And he walked right off of his base. And it was
Crazy.
It was creepy. It was really well. Some of them were better than others. I don't know if it's because of the software they're using or because they were just better at however they did it. But I don't know how you'd actually really make that marketable in a sense of gaming. But it's cool.
The technology is there. I mean, like if you can make something image of it walking around, then all of a sudden that's just one step away from having a game where you've loaded up your own miniatures and now that you've painted and now they're walking around.
Yes. So that's what I would love to have it where you could, after you did your tabletop battle, it would be the software would be filming it while you're doing it.
Yeah.
And then it would be able to animate the battle.
Like, yeah,
exactly.
Because then you wouldn't need to imagine it.
It would just be like cool watching the battle after you had it in like, animated fashion. That would be cool.
Your animated battle report would show the models. You're telling them where to go and everything. Then the battle is like recreated and it's showing the shooting and lines go.
But when you watch a battle report, is that what you would want to watch?
Who knows?
Like it's one
People
thing.
wanna
It's one thing
watch
to
that.
have it as a little niche thing for fun.
Yeah, I
but
just would want to see my own miniatures on my own table against playing Rusty or you guys or Mark or whatever. That it'd be like, I don't know how you'd really market it. It'd just be a cool thing. I don't want to watch that on YouTube or anything.
Clyde says, I don't like this dark dystopian future where I can't make my own pew pew noises with my minis.
Yes. Amen, brother.
Yeah.
Pew,
The
pew
nerds
noise.
in the house, right? Howdy ho.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, that's part of the draw for me for this hobby is it's not techy. I mean, it's sort of like AI replacing artists' work, I don't know.
I don't know if this is like too much of a tangent, but something that's been bothering me lately that's related to what we're talking about is when I'm scanning through social media, more and more now, I'm finding that I'm seeing things that are not even saying they're AI, but they're trying to pass off something and it is AI. And sometimes I have to go into the comments of something just to see that it's confirmed it is AI. And I'm finding that
it's concerning.
Well, this isn't like the robots are going to take over and come and kill me concern. Like this is not, that's not what I'm talking about. But what I am talking about is I find I have a less interest in something knowing that it's artificially generated. It's not real. And I find that now a significant amount of my time, if I'm looking at stuff, is becoming more and more involved in determining whether it's real. And like just basically wasting my time. Like just, like rather than just looking at something and seeing like a funny monkey video, that's just like
or
somebody's
just
feeding a monkey and it's just like a funny monkey video. Like I could just know that it's a real monkey and like they were trying to feed it and it's funny.
And it's funny.
Now it's like there's stuff going, like these videos of stuff and it's like a fake thing trying to scare somebody and it's never was real to begin with. And it's just over and over trying to dupe you in some ways. Like,
and that's that's the part that's concerning to me about the whole AI thing, because pretty soon are we going to be able to tell real from fact from fiction?
It's getting harder and harder. And
so then put that into a real life sense as far as where something happened, and they show, even whatever. I don't want to bring up tragic events, but things. And then, then you're sit there left questioning, did that really happen? Mm-hmm. I mean, what can you believe and what can't you believe? And sometimes it doesn't matter. Like you said, it's just a funny monkey playing with a kid or something. Was it real or not real? Doesn't really matter, maybe. But sometimes it will. Sometimes it will matter.
Well, and I'm not even going to that
Who's
level
in
because
charge of that?
I think that you're spot on that like there is like a point coming where like there could be some real consequences. Like it could even be somebody like showing something that matters a lot to you that's fake, like but the point I'm making is like even at a very innocent level where somebody's like trying to either entertain or get views for their channel or whatever it is, like it's not incredibly malicious, but it's taking away
from actual
lots of time. Like it's just you're having to sift through all of this stuff. And I guess you don't have to, because you don't have to be digital. Like you can just not look at your phone. But the point that I'm just thinking is like it's just kind of crazy that now you have to spend time determining whether things are real or not. And that actually to me is frustrating a little bit, just a little bit.
Well, that's why I always wonder at some point, do you get to where people start? I mean, we're talking about some of these, the way maybe tabletop gaming moves in the future, Games Workshop moves in the future. You would think maybe not. I don't know. But at some point, does there become some pushback? Because even for me, eventually, I even like get to where, like I said, I'll go several days, which I never used to even do, where I literally don't tap on Facebook at all. I mean, I don't even open it, because for the same reason, like you sift through all this stuff and then you get led down a rabbit hole, and then you're like, and after a while it's like, I'm not even living my life anymore.
Mhm.
I don't even know what I'm doing, and trying to sort real from not real, important from not important, and people trolling other people, and after a while you wonder if some point there will be, even whether it's the younger generations or whoever, that are like, we're not, there's got to be a limit at some point to technology, as far as in certain areas of our lives, that people just finally say this isn't healthy, or it isn't making my life better.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful, and I actually, this might be naive, but like, I actually do think that the people that follow us are going to come to some sort of. There are some people that are going to come to the consensus of valuing like realism, like and just like what's right in
Authenticity, you
front of
mean?
you, like.
Okay.
So,
Well, like
when
I
are
mean,
these
like
people
just
gonna realize
abandoning.
that we're all four of us are AI generated?
Sorry.
When they're going to realize that all four of us are actually AI generated people?
God, I wish I was. I'd make myself younger.
I guess what I mean is like, do you know how a
Yeah.
lot of people during COVID started cooking, like again, that never cooked?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know how like there were like a lot of people that just started really, that really like started doing things they'd never done before, like, and I think that same thing is the younger generation. There's going to be a generation that's going to turn around and say, like, to me, it's more important to like build something or cook something
That's what I'm
or
saying. That's
go out and
exactly what I'm
see
saying.
something. Like,
Yep.
I think that this
There'll
is
become
new
a
to
point when people
us.
push back to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be after us. And I think, like, as much as we can see a difference from like our childhoods and like just things like that, like
Because we
to
have a
us,
frame of reference,
but-
is why.
yeah, and we're just getting sucked into the newness of this, but we've seen it before, and we can still rely on things we did in the past, and like we're just sort of living this like in between life.
Yep.
But there's folks that are going to just like primarily be in that life, and they're going to actually have like, I believe there's going to be at least some people, like a portion of people, if not a lot, are going to value things differently. Like,
I 100% agree.
because like somebody, it doesn't take a genius, and it doesn't take like these people are going to realize that they're going to want to start appreciating things that are more tangible.
It's just part of being human, I think. Just
Yeah.
the tangible, the creative, to grow things out of the earth. Just go back to fun. There's a certain amount of that fundamental human nature, I think, that you can't remove, which is why this hobby is still interesting, I think, to people of all the different ages. Because it's what's so funny.
I don't know. GB says in the comments, "I cook, but not that kind of cook."
But not that.
Good one.
That's good. That's
yeah,
good.
that's leading people out of reality.
Yeah.
That kind of good. But
That's
yeah.
funny.
Sorry, Dan. I didn't mean to interrupt with my laugh.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was.
That's actually going into another kind of brainwashing.
Yeah, that's
anyways,
deep.
But I kind of feel like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's just,
It's hard to say.
well, you hear a lot about it. I mean, this is really getting off topic, but you hear a lot about the way things have always been as far as getting into a mortgage and people making less and needing to, and having things out of reach compared to, like, if you look at the 50s as the prime time of being able to pump gas at a gas station but still afford a mortgage. Like, if you actually look how it's changed over the years.
60s and early 70s.
Yeah, but if like you look at how it's changed over the years, there are people that are questioning even now what you were supposed to do up until now. You know, like there are people that are just kind of forced into questioning that, and because of the current economy and everything. And I think in the same way, like those same people that question the norm, that same kind of questioning could question the future kind of stuff we're talking about here, where you're locked into this sort of universe in your phone.
Yeah, well, and you look at all the things too now where spyware and all that stuff where they can, get into your phone,
New things.
well, do things, and well, have you followed some of that stuff?
Grandpa Dan, that new spyware.
They could turn on
like viruses.
No,
computer viruses.
They could turn on like your camera,
microphone
and they can do all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's freaky. They can listen to you. They can go through your emails. They can do all kinds of stuff. Just and then supposedly, like the good ones, then you'll never even know they were there.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, just even privacy issues, and I don't know.
Yep, they can look at you through your remote control.
Or your smart TV. Yes, they're big brothers watching.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyways, sorry, I think I'm not the only one that threw this off topic a little bit, but it's led. I do think that some of it goes back to the original topic, though.
Well, it's all technology related,
and just patience and like for like what you want to look at, and needing to capture people where they're at in the market, and the way they interface with content.
That's got to be extremely challenging, though. Bottom line, how do these companies figure that out? Because even like the four of us would probably have very different interests and things we would pursue within these same discussions we've had tonight. And so who decides what direction and when and to what extent? And then of course, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but
they probably hire a lot of people and getting advice from people outside of the tabletop market as marketing and how to capture folks. You know what I mean? Like a lot of that is done outside of the miniature.
Oh yeah.
To begin with. And I think they probably bring that in, that sort of social science of understanding that.
But man, that's such a moving target. How would you know with the way the winds are blowing,
Yeah.
Where people are at.
True.
If a lot of it's psychology and they're looking at it, the human nature is pretty much the same. You're just trying to figure out how to make you're able to target that specific niche.
Yeah, advertising.
Yeah. But advertising works across the board. You just have to figure out what your target audience is and then push it towards them.
Must resist.
Resist what? Resistance is futile. Yeah. So I always find it as interesting as we were talking about, what's real and what's not. It's like I'm looking at a lot of stuff now. It's like part of a lot of science groups on Facebook. And a number of people, more and more and more, are saying they'll show a picture like that James Webb telescope takes. You can access it straight from NASA and look at it because that's one of the feeds I get.
Yeah.
And you look at it, it's like, oh, cool. They did a good picture this time. That's cool. That's cool. And then they'll post it up on like the Facebook group, and people, that's AI fake. That's AI generated fake. And you're like, no, they just took that. Too many people nowadays don't believe anything that's actually put in front of them. They think everything's fake now.
Oh yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, and in some ways, like on the one hand, it's frustrating, and on the other hand, like can you not believe in anything? And on the other hand, can you blame them with everything we're talking about?
Yeah,
it's sort of like a mixture of both. You know what I mean? Like it's I mean, like if you can't believe anything that you're going to believe, then why are you even looking at it? You know what I mean? Like that's
Exactly.
on one side, but on the other side, it's like, yeah, how do you know it's not? I mean, like it could be.
Yeah, you
It's
just
really
have to
hard
go
know.
and know what the source is, find out the source, and do your own investigative research. But people will just rather not do that and just deny everything.
Dan, will you, as a tradition, will you wail and weep every time a Jameson bottle is killed on the show?
No, because there's always more where that came
There's
from.
always more.
We're good to go. I love the
I killed this
support.
one. I actually
Yeah.
have another one. I have another one, actually, a backup. So it's just in the
Well,
closet.
we need a
For
21 bottle salute for it.
Good. I like to see there's a backup. That's just good management there.
Yes, exactly. But yeah,
It's a solid one to have as a regular in the
let
cupboard.
me bust through some of these comments and see what we got here. All right. Clyde says that sounds like what GW would do. I'd definitely see them selling you a box of miniatures with a code in it. And
Well, obviously.
well, that box is only good for 10 miniatures. So if you want more on the table, you got to buy another box.
Yeah.
I
Gotta
don't
have
like
unit
the dark
kit,
dystopia
family
future
phone,
where I can't make my own pee-pew sounds with my miniatures.
What's that, Tim?
I said you got to have a unit of 10, but they only sell them in boxes of 8.
Yeah.
Just like hot dog buns, right?
Yeah. So how many do I have to buy to get a nice even number?
Oh gosh, that's funny.
That's why you buy a loaf of bread. I don't remember using a hot dog bun until I was like in my late teens. It was like, they have hot dog buns? I always thought it was sliced bread for your hot dog.
Yeah, you just roll it up corner to corner.
Yep.
And what are hot dogs made of? I thought they were made of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't
well,
want to know. I cook, but not
there's
that
ground
good.
up ribeyes. That's all it is.
Yeah, ground up ribeye. Yeah,
That'd be great.
that'd be a great hot dog.
Right.
You betcha. Get some of that.
Yeah. 300 bones. Everybody's mortgages have gone up. From there, GW, I can escape south to buy a house in Tennessee. Yeah. If it hasn't been rolled away. Roll for Nisha, who gets to decide? You push a button.
Yep.
One Canadian on the show is enough.
I didn't say enough, but I did say there's one. You added that part.
I feel like I'm watching myself. Like the four of you are here, minus the heat chat.
I think GB's doing more than cooking.
It's the group chat. Yeah.
You got time for that? You have time to bleed? Carl Withers. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You don't want to know what goes into a hot dog. Yeah. Oh, I made some progress tonight.
Yeah, I made a little bit of progress. I painted like mustaches and hair on 25 miniatures. So that was good.
I don't know how you do that many at one batch. Holy mokey.
Well, that's how you do it. It's called batch painting.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord.
Well,
That's a huge batch. I would just feel like I'm
I don't do
spinning
it fast. I don't do it fast. I don't want to make it.
That's
make
okay
it,
then.
Well, I don't do it fast. I mean, like I'm not quick, but when I did, and this isn't a lot for a lot of people, but for me it was when I did like, I think it was like 45 red coats at once, like these metal ones, all like in the same position, the same miniature, really.
Yeah.
And they're all the same miniature. They're not like 5 different kinds. They're all the same miniature, except for the command. And when I did that, that was a bit of a feat for me. Like for me, it was. There are other people that's nothing, you know. I don't. I'm not fast, you know, but I do. sometimes paint them that way, and in great big bunches. And it's really rough in the beginning, and then I find the further I get through, the more I'm kind of happy having them all on the table, kind of really starting to look like they're getting somewhere.
Sorry.
I don't know.
Excuse me. Yeah, so that's just interesting, though, because I would think, so like you said, you're not a massively fast painter, that you'd be more likely to paint like groups of 8 or something, or 10. That's just, it
That's
seems
the problem.
to me that's an interesting strategy that you take.
It's a double-sided sword, because some swords are not double-sided. This one's a double-sided one. And the reason being,
they all have two sides.
It's the Jameson talking.
There's not 2 edges on every sword. Some of them are sabers. Some of them are sabers.
There you go.
And this is a double-edged. Yeah, right. So, well, no, some go to infinity. There's no side. It's just
And beyond, right?
But I guess the point I'm making is that if I was to do 8, I wouldn't want to do the next 8 when I was done, even if it was only 8. Like, I would actually want to move on to something else. And by doing it this way, I do actually get them done, even if it takes me, just as long as it would to do 8 at a time. And I would have, maybe some people would have liked that better, seeing like the finish of the 8 and then like doing another 8. I wouldn't want to do like 3 times 8. Like, I would want to be painting something else by that point. Once I saw the finished miniatures and I put the varnish on them and everything on the 8, I would be like, what can I do now? Like, with this, at least I get the 24 done, and then I can move on to something else.
Yeah, what makes your mind work.
What's that, Tim?
I said, I'm not sure Mooch here agrees with you. He was listening to you awfully intently, but I'm not sure he agrees. Is that right, Mooch? You don't agree with him, do you?
But you paint in large batches.
Do what?
You do. You paint in large batches.
Yeah.
You do.
Well,
you do.
I normally, whatever the unit is, there you go.
That's what you paint.
Now he's done. He just want to hear you.
I'm
out of here.
He jumped in, saw what we were doing. He said, I'm out.
I'm out.
I'm out.
What are these crazy humans doing?
Yeah, I tend to like do units, and it doesn't matter what the unit is. If the unit is like 8, then I'll paint the 8 and move on. Maybe jump over to something, but it's got to. I got to complete something that's usable. I don't want if I have a unit of, let's say I got to have a unit of 24, I'm not going to just do 6 of them and move to something else. I'm going to complete the unit, then move on to something else.
So I think you're saying exactly what I said, just in a different way, though, for like a different purpose.
Because I don't want to. If the unit is only 8 guys, if I'm like doing like some sort of firefight game where you only got like some skirmish game where you got like 6 or 8 miniatures, and I paint those up, then I'm done. But if I needed 24 or 30 for the unit itself, then I'm going to complete that unit. I might complete the whole army, but I'm going to complete that unit before I move on to something else.
And why?
I'm psycho.
Nothing psycho about
I have to complete that one thing. I can't leave like half of it done.
Yeah. I
got to get that. If I'm going to get to a point, like if it's all just like 8-man blocks, then I can do an 8-man block and be done and go because I've got the block done.
Yeah.
So if the unit has to be 24 models, then I'm going to paint all 24. I'm going to do that unit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then go on to something else. Maybe venture off, go over to a different gaming system or something and paint something. But I got to finish that. I'm not going to do like 11 of the 24, put it down, and then go away, and then come back to it. I couldn't do that.
Well,
that would drive me.
I'll give you an example, Dan, in the way that Tim is talking and what I had said. I did 10 Blackworks, and I couldn't get myself to go back and do another 10 after I did the 10 and I started another project. And I was like, I can use the 10 in the game. I can use the 10, which I have used them as 10.
Yeah.
But I wanted to unit at 20, and I even have more to paint. But I didn't get really excited after just like doing the 10 and finishing. I was like, I want to paint something else now. And I should have forced myself to finish all 20. And I know that about myself.
That's the important thing. You know what works for you.
Well, everybody has a different psychology, right? Like what works for one person is different for another in
Yeah.
this regard. And for
we gotta
me,
rationalize it to ourselves. You know, to
Yeah,
get
it's all mind games. Yeah.
as much as I might like something, and I can think of certain miniatures that I truly, when I was finished with them, just like loved having them on my paint desk as they were almost done. Like I just love that. But as much as I like these things, my attention span always wants to bring me to something else.
Huh.
Like
Squirrel.
it's a fairly good project, but by the time I'm done with it. Like as good as it is, I want to do something different.
Okay.
And if I actually allow myself to do less and finish it, it's more likely that I'll just not do the rest than I will. I will actually, yeah. Rusty doesn't even know what I'm talking about because he paints by the hundreds. He's like, it's like, what is this psychobabble this guy's talking about?
That's barely even batch painting, he's saying.
While you're saying that, I just painted 10 models. What? It's so slow.
24? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I paint them by the unit.
Yep.
I paint them by the battalion.
Battalion.
Yeah.
I
Assemble.
paint them by the legion.
Yeah, it's just interesting because everybody's psychology is different. Because I would have, like, if someone, in just what I know from you, and you know, say you were asking me like, how would you recommend like somebody like me to paint? I would definitely think, you know, since you seeing the 24 or 36 or whatever on the table at once, doing all the right, I would think your mind would be like, okay, I'm like burned out on this. I'm done. You know, because you're not seeing a finished thing.
Yeah,
you know,
I have to switch
like
my
you
mind.
see 8 done,
Yeah.
then it's like, oh, now I'm motivated to do these
Yeah.
next 8, and I'll have the unit done. But what you do works for you. So that's
I do at times like to paint one miniature just for the feeling of that, like seeing the completion really quickly and doing all the techniques close together. But having said that, I can kind of go into a zone and just like listen to YouTube videos and like just paint rifles. Like and I can do that. And as long as I'm seeing some progress throughout the week where they're starting to turn into what I want them to turn into, I can do it.
You're motivated still. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a different kind of motivation. It's the long game. It's like it's not.
Well, I'm always looking at the long game, as you well know.
Yeah. Anyways,
no, that's
Time
cool.
to roll.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, I mentioned to the fellas on here earlier that I have some family in town from the holiday and stuff that I have to head out. Actually, well, what we'll call on time, whatever that means. But you know, like.
Yeah.
It's time to bid us adieu.
Yep. Until next time. You know, it's only 2 weeks, I assume.
Rusty's sickness is calling him back.
More drugs, Rusty. More drugs.
Yeah, I go take
Turtle calls you.
Take my stuff for my congestion.
Chris comes in right before the end of the show, and he's like, "What? YouTube lets you guys back on in 2025?"
Yeah, we snuck through this one last.
Oh yeah, it's like they let us back, and they even gave back my commercials on my channel again.
Ah,
wow,
that must be a mistake.
Speaking of Canadians, we got another one that just joined the room.
Chris,
They're everywhere. They're everywhere.
There is.
Anyways,
yeah, a fun
it was
chat
a nice chat, everybody.
Yeah,
and yeah, 2 weeks. Unless you guys are not able to, I'm totally good for 2 weeks. I think the next one will be over at on the Heresy Lounge?
Yep, I'm good as far as I know.
Should be good.
Yeah.
All right.
Just bring
Well,
Mooch back and you can be like Spectre.
Next week we'll have an AI version of this show instead. It will be AI next week. Real the week after that.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Is it real or is it Memorex or live
Right.
or Memorex? That's it.
From the mines of Minolta.
Oh my word!
All right, everybody.
Yeah. Happy New Year to everybody. Hope 2025 is
Yes.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
even better.
Yeah, I hope so. Maybe I'll be healthy enough to actually do it.
What's that, Tim?
I said it'll be summer before we know it.
I
That's
know.
right.
Don't even say that.
I know. I said that and I thought, hell, Dan will have to be planting and
I know. It can't be summer yet.
The job
Oh.
never ends.
Not yet, anyway.
All righty. So
All right,
we'll
gentlemen.
see you guys in 2 weeks over in Palmer's channel.
Yes.
And we'll have something more exciting for a topic, maybe.
Oh, that was
pretty cool
interesting. We
tonight.
got in. Yeah, we talked about some interesting things we hadn't talked about before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
went a little all over the place, but that's okay.
That's our normal mindset, though. Really.
This
We're
was
like
easy, too.
squirrels.
We
Yeah.
need to hire like an adult to say, now, kids, get back on the topic now. Come on, bring it back down. Bring it back
Oh,
down.
man, do we have to?
Yeah.
That's all we need is an adult in the room.
Yeah.
Adults? Who wants to be that? What a waste of a good time.
Yeah.
Been fighting that for 56 years.
Oh my
All right, everybody. So we're going to end the live stream. We'll be back in 2 weeks, and we'll see you later. Good
Yep.
night, everyone.
Good
Bye, everybody.
everybody.